And here at KSMO Radio, we welcome you to Wednesday, September the 3rd, and we have some special guests with us today. We're going to be talking a little bit about our Denton County Fire Protection District. We've got Chief Dennis Floyd with us, Board Member Jeff Stokes. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's all get up and do our jumping jacks.
Oh, yes.
Calisthenics in the morning, right? Well, first off, obviously these gentlemen who are here are going to talk a little bit about the new equipment that our Denton County Fire Protection District has gotten with the bond proceeds. And we're going to talk a little bit about those numbers. And also they want a big thank you from them for our Denton County voters that made it all possible. So, guys,
Absolutely.
I mean, for the most part, this was a critical issue. Our fire apparatus, our engine, some of our other equipment, it had just been used to, there was really almost no use left in it.
Yeah.
Was that correct?
Oh, that's correct. Our oldest truck is 40 years old, and we had some in the 30s, and they were just getting to the point that so many issues and so much time out of service that in fire trucks you need them when you need them, and if they're not functioning properly or out for repairs, you can't serve the public.
And being out for repairs, Dennis, we talked a little bit about that before we came on the air. That might be 3 to 6 or 8 months because of obviously a 40-year-old engine. It's not going to be easy to find all the parts you need.
Well, that's right. The manufacturers, they've moved on to newer things and more modern equipment. And, finding parts for trucks that old is difficult and takes time. And sometimes they even had to make things from scratch to put them back together. So
but not
it takes
just
time.
Yeah, but not just the trucks, the apparatus as well.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, a chassis that's 40 years old, it's just obsolete, and parts are no longer available, and just takes time.
When you look at the overall situation of a fire department today versus when you became a volunteer firefighter, 40 years ago? About
33.
33, I know, it was a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at can a little bit describe the difference now?
Oh, gosh, that's, many things.
Summarize it. I mean, you probably go on a 25-minute dissertation.
Yeah, I mean, so many things have changed. I mean, the equipment is just so much better nowadays. And we had old gasoline engine trucks back then that, carbureted. So they were kind of cantankerous to get started. And, So now you have more modern trucks with diesel engines and a lot more electronics, and they just function so much better than they used to, and it's just really modernized, and the gear's changed a lot. I mean, some of the old boots and coats we used to wear were they were something else, and now you have all this high-tech material, and it's just so much more breathable and lightweight, and they've improved on a lot of things.
But not only improving on the equipment and stuff, but look at all the different things that are out there now with hazmat and the different. I don't know. Sometimes I look at some of these carpet fibers, and I'm wondering. Okay, it says non-flammable, or it might be non-flammable, but the toxic smoke it lets off is just as dangerous, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of products are petroleum-based. You think of oil just being used for gas and diesel fuel, but no, it's in about everything that makes furniture, carpet. I mean, just, everything has got some kind of petroleum stuff in it. And, when it burns, it puts off a lot of toxic gas that is not good for firefighters.
Can't see it.
No, you can't see it. Sometimes you can usually smell it, but not always. It's just not good to breathe that stuff. And so, the breathing apparatus was a big priority for us also, to get some new equipment there and make it safer for the guys.
But also federal regulations require you to have the right equipment to go and fight those fires, because if you're not, and they're not going to pass you, they're not going to allow that out there, are they?
Yeah, the breathing apparatus, they expire after 20 years, so you have to replace them, or you're not within federal compliance. So if something bad happened to one of the firefighters, then the people in charge, the district, the board members, we could all be liable for that incident and their safety. And injuries that occur.
Before I ask you to talk about the new equipment we've got, I want to talk to Jeff first off. Well, Jeff, I know you came on. We talked on the air a couple times about obviously how important this bond issue was, and it got fantastic support from the public, did it not?
It did, and we are incredibly grateful for that. That was single-handedly the largest investment the department's ever received. By the time everything came out, we got just a little bit over $3.5 million. I think it came out to close to like 3.6, just because of how everything turned out. And we've immediately started putting it to work. We got that money late July, and we made 5 truck purchases within a month. We've paid off the 2 loans that the department has. So right now we're sitting at about $460,000 left of the bond proceeds, and we're really trying to nail down what we need still to spend that money on.
But the only thing I heard was, why did they go out and buy everything right now? It was because it was in that critical of need, was it not?
It was, especially the brush trucks, because back in February when we were on, we had that
Oh,
fire
yeah.
out there. We were having issues with parts, with the pumps, the trucks. So we've got the 2 brush trucks, working on outfitting them now. The 3 bigger trucks, 2 pumper tankers, and the 1 engine, they're already in service. So.
And also, and somebody was asking me about it, I said, I can't tell you, but I do know this. Fire trucks are in high demand. Even the pumper trucks, they're all in very high demand. If you don't get them when they're available, you may not get them for quite some time.
Oh, 100%. We were, pretty much as soon as a truck came available, we'd have to make a decision pretty quick and put a letter of intent down so it could get held for us.
And there were a lot of special board meetings held to make that happen, were there not?
We had a few, yeah. Because when you only meet once a month, it's hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a truck. Let's come together.
You're right. Right. Yeah.
But see, I think the public doesn't understand that. They think once you pass the bond issue, you'll go get the trucks and you'll do this. It's just business as usual. The purchase of a doggone near $1 million truck is not business as usual, is it?
It's not. The trucks alone were $1.8 million worth. And that's a lot of money. That's pretty big decisions we've had to make and everything we've had to contemplate over the last few months.
And give credit to the board members. You guys all had to contemplate how to use those funds the best way. I mean, you're probably not going to have another influx like that for quite some time, and hopefully maybe never ever need it again. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
But when you get it, everybody said, well, I'm sure everybody had their recommendations, okay? We really need this, or we really need this, or we really need this. Did the board rely a lot on what Chief Floyd was recommending, or were they actually inspecting the trucks, or even getting repair reports from some of the service departments that have worked on the fire trucks, saying, like, guys, we can't get parts for this anymore?
Oh, absolutely. Chief Floyd and the command staff, the assistant chief, the captains, they were extremely helpful to the board. They did a lot of groundwork, kind of laying out what they need, what they didn't need. And there were some hard decisions that we made. There were some trucks that we wanted, but we had to table those to the side just due to cost and everything, due to other such circumstances. But they were incredibly helpful with this whole process.
Let's talk, and I'm still kind of gearing toward Jeff. I'm not going to leave you out, Dennis. You got
Okay.
got a lot of time here.
Yeah, I'll wait right here.
And then once the bond issue was passed, the local investment back into our community, that's been tremendous, hasn't it?
It has been. After the bonds were put up for sale, I think about 50-50 is what it came out to. Local investors, Bank of Salem, Town and Country Bank, Edward Jones, to name a few, bought up a significant portion of them. And that's incredibly helpful for the community. That's people literally reinvesting in their community.
And that's what you really want. You want your local people to get the advantages of that bond issue because, really that's who you're serving, and they're now trying to give back.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I always feel good about that. Were you surprised the bonds went as fast as they did? I mean, they got sold pretty quick.
To an extent. We had a meeting with LJ Hart before they were put up for sale. And they were kind of back and forth on how fast. They were confident they could get them all sold, of course. But the question was just how fast are we going to be able to do so? And it happened pretty quick.
It did. Municipal bonds, 10 because of their tax-free status. Now, now they're doing away with some of the capital gains and things of this nature. And I'm thinking, okay, how's that going to affect tax-free bonds going down the road?
Right.
If you have no taxes on capital gains, wow,
Yeah.
don't
It's-
necessarily have to have tax-free income.
It's literally
Right.
a 5% tax-free return. Is
Yeah,
what
so-
it
That's
Yeah,
a
so it'll
pretty
be-
good investment this day
Yeah,
and age.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how
Yeah.
that moves forward. But fortunately, ours was done in a time of great need for our community. And number one, and then number two, while those those higher interest-free, high interest paying, but no tax bonds on a municipality come out. As an accountant, you always wanted to look for those because your rate of return, depending upon your tax bracket, could be as high as 11 to 12%.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and especially when you get into the retirement stage
Mm-hmm.
of life, you're looking to pay as little taxes as possible. Of course, so, I mean, everyone I think is looking to
Yeah.
pay.
And for those who may not know the distributions, when fire district does pay off their portion of the interest in the bond principal, that goes back to the investor, and that is tax free.
Yep.
No taxes in the state, no taxes for the federal.
Right.
That's a sweet
It
deal.
is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, very good. So, well, and again, we just want to thank all the Denton County voters out there who listened, who actually came to the meetings, who came out to the open houses, who actually probably paid a lot more attention to what's going on in the world, because we all know prices were skyrocketing at the time. We
Right.
had to do something now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our normal budget just, it wasn't keeping up. We just couldn't replace equipment fast enough it was just wearing out, and outdating, and we just couldn't replace it at the timely fashion that we needed. So, yeah.
And when you as chief, when you prepare the reports and you have the reimbursement report, I hope people understand. It's not like you go out to a fire, you bill for the fire, and you're reimbursed in 30 days, because that's not happening.
No, it takes some time, and a lot of stuff we don't even bill for. I mean, it's covered by taxes. So if we go outside the district for a call or something, we might submit a bill for that, and we might get paid, we might not.
But if
it
you do
takes
get
time.
paid, it may be 90 to 120
Oh,
days before that money
absolutely.
comes in.
Absolutely.
You
yes.
know, and that's not exactly a quick cash turnaround.
No,
is it?
no, you can't depend on it. No.
And
It's
I-
usually very minimal.
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we need to really thank is the volunteer firefighters. I mean, in all honesty, without their efforts coming in and doing what they do, and I know the board gets very much involved as well, but you were talking about the brush fire a little bit earlier, and really it just showed how dedicated our volunteer firefighters are, and our board, because everybody kind of lent a helping hand as much as they could.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we spent hours and hours out there on that call, and so the guys were away from their families and stuff for quite a bit of time, and it's dedicated, and but the bond issue also has been really good for us firefighters. That makes them feel supported by the community and gives them a sense of pride, and that helps when you're volunteering your time and know that the community's got your back and appreciates what you do.
But they also have to leave their regular job to go to the fire, you know, and that's their regular paying job, probably
Right.
paying a little bit more to fire department
Yes.
Yeah.
does.
Absolutely.
And really is interesting when I hear people say, well, it took them so long to get there. Well, they're not sitting at the fire department
No.
waiting on a call. They're coming from other jobs to get there, to get to your location. And really, they're not. If you want to prevent fires from starting, I mean, you guys have all kinds of literature on how to get your home. I won't say fireproof. Nobody can be fireproof, but
No.
but I guess fire resistant.
Right.
So do the right things. Make sure you check this. Make sure you check that. We're hearing more about gas explosions all the time, and I think people think, well, they could have prevented that. Well, maybe they could. Maybe they can't. Maybe they couldn't. But for the most part, it seems like most of those are arson. Somebody wants to get in there and they want to blow your house up.
Yeah.
But propane tanks, if you got a leak, fills your house up. If you're not there,
Yeah, I mean,
it's volatile.
Yeah. Something kicks on in your house. it just takes a little spark.
Like a
and,
thermostat.
Yeah,
That's all it takes.
Yeah, anything. Yes.
I know you guys got plenty of literature on fire safety if anybody's ever interested in getting that. And of course, you guys can also come out to the community if you have an organization or even a classroom, and you can discuss fire safety, because I think a lot of people, I know years ago we used to have the fire department out there in our grade schools all the time. I mean, when I was going to, they'd come out there in the coats and the hats. It was always so cool.
Yeah.
And then they bring in a hose and say, this is what we got to carry out. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
That water's running through. I can just imagine trying to hold on to that
Oh,
dog.
yeah. None of that stuff light. No.
No, none of it is. But that's the community, the community's interest in our fire department, but also the fire department's interest back into our community.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about some of this new equipment.
Yeah. Well, our first priority was to replace the remaining breathing apparatus that we didn't replace the year before when we borrowed the money to buy 12 apparatus. So we purchased 12 more right after we got the bond funds, and actually they came in so quickly we got them before we even had the bond money. They predicted a 6 to 8 week delivery time, and we got them in like 3 weeks. I was like, well, we don't quite have the money yet, but it's coming really soon.
I promise.
Yeah. So we got those taken care of. So top priority for safety of the guys. We're looking at.
Are there, before you go on, are there differences in the breathing apparatus? I mean, can you explain what the breathing apparatus is? I think everybody has seen that on a firefighter,
Right.
but can you explain how that actually works?
Sure. You have the tank that you wear on the back, and everybody thinks it's 100% oxygen, but it's not. It's just compressed air, just like you breathe normally. That you just pack it in that bottle and take it in with you. Of course, when you're in a smoky environment, you have to take air in with you, or you're not going to make it. But they keep changing them over the years. They have so many features on them now compared to what we used to have. I mean, the only thing you had back in the day was a little bell that rang when you were getting low on air.
Yeah.
Now it's
what
got
about what about the shield? Is it different material than it used to be? I mean, years ago you'd see them come out and it could be scorched or singed.
Yeah. I mean, it can still do that, but I mean, they're always improving on that stuff. I mean, it's as fire resistant as they can get it without being super heavy. It still has to be of a usable weight, but yeah, I mean, they're always improving on that. They have much better visibility now than they used to. I mean, it kind of wraps around your face further, and it's got a lot of built-in electronics now that you actually have a little heads-up display in there where you can see how much air you have and all that fancy stuff.
Yeah. I know years ago the tanks were really heavy.
Yeah.
You probably had a chance to use a few of those
they're
real heavy tanks.
Yeah, they were steel back in the day. Now they're a spun carbon fiber that.
Okay.
I mean, they're still not light, but lighter than they used to be.
Okay.
They're always
I don't
improving
think
on
people have never probably physically touched a breathing apparatus.
that. Right.
But it's kind of important for firefighters
Oh, absolutely,
when they're
yeah.
going in there to be able to breathe.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of our most common used tools. Yeah. I mean, any kind of house fire, vehicle fire, any kind of hazmat incident, we use those, and very important.
You just protect the firefighter, and I don't allow them to breathe, but protect them from those nauseous fumes that we were talking about before.
Yes.
That it could affect the firefighter's equilibrium. It could affect their breathing after that if they get those toxins in there. Yeah. It's not something, like I said, you want to play with when you have to try and go and keep your wits about you. I think that's one thing I would love to talk to firefighters about, because when you're entering a burning structure, you have to survey the entire scene before you progress, right?
Right.
And if you can't see or you can't breathe.
Yes. That's kind of important. But typically before we enter a burning building, I mean, the guys will do a 360 around the outside of the building just to kind of get a feel for how the building's laid out, where the fire area might be, and look for any means to get out in case you have trouble. Is there windows on the backside of this building or a door or stuff like that? But when you go in, visibility is usually the thing you have to count off, because smoke, you obviously can't see anything, so you have to rely on your other senses of feel, hearing, listening to what's going on is very important. And so the guys have got to communicate with each other when they're in there, and let your partner know, hey, here's what I'm doing, what are you doing, and how's it going. And
so I need to ask this question, because this is always something I wanted to know. But when you go into a structure that's been engulfed for a while, if anybody ever looks at their concrete in the summertime when the heat hits it, you start to see the air waves where it distorts things.
Yes.
Does that happen inside a house as well with the heat?
Oh, I mean, it can, yeah. Normally you can't really see it. It's just
Okay.
so dark in there. But, yeah, they call it a thermal layer. Of course, the heat rises, so the farther up in a room you get, the hotter it's going to be. That's why firefighters stay low when they go in to try to stay below that heat as much as you can. But, yeah, it still gets pretty warm in there, which the modern fire gear holds up better to that heat than it used to. And but yeah, still, when you start getting around the 400-degree mark, I mean, it starts to, you can feel that. So,
Yeah. Like
so,
put yourself
yeah,
in your oven.
Yes, yeah. So if you're not applying the water on there and getting that fire cooled down, you know, you're gonna have to start backing up and change the plan. Yeah.
But the biggest obstruction is not the distortion of the heat, it's actually the smoke,
Yeah.
and probably even the flames themselves
Right.
not allowing you to see what you need to
Yeah,
see. Okay,
right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, very good. I never did know when I just thought, I've got fire guys here, I'm going to find out.
Yeah,
All right, very
absolutely.
good. All right, so breathing apparatus, very important. What was our next purchase, or what was our next need?
Yeah, the trucks, we had been working on that for several months. Yeah, we found some that were already built. You know, 'cause, yeah, if you spec one out and order it from scratch, you know, you're talking anywhere from 3 to 6 years before you receive the truck. And we didn't really have that amount of time to wait. I mean, we were way behind the 8 ball already. So, yeah, we were able to find some trucks in advance and look at several different options there and found the ones that suited our needs the best and put the letter of intent on there to hold them until we received the funding. And so luckily they were able to work with us well on that and
Good.
held those trucks for us.
So what was the difference between the old pumper, besides working properly,
Yeah.
and the newer trucks? Is it better traction? You got maybe a slip differential? You can get around in a little bit better because, you know, anybody wants to fight a fire in woods, you're going all different directions, and and plus you don't even know if it's going to be soft ground, hard ground. If
Yeah.
it starts to rain,
Right.
you know, you can get stuck out there.
Oh, they've improved on that a little bit, but yeah, fire trucks are heavy and they will
are.
get stuck easily. But yeah, I mean they have a lot more traction control stuff on them now built in, the electronics and the anti-lock brakes, and they've improved on the safety features and driving a lot better. Even have airbags now in the trucks.
Well, there you go.
You know,
Hopefully
the
you're
older
not
stuff
hitting
didn't have
anything.
those options, and yeah, the newer trucks. It's kind of annoying, but they have the seatbelt alarms that so if you're not buckled up, the truck gets very angry with you. So yeah, you have to put the seatbelts on, and you know, the older trucks they didn't care. But
Do the pumper trucks pump more water or faster, or is it more intense, or is the pressure behind it better, or is it about the same?
they're still about the same. Yeah. I mean, the pumps are more modern in the way they function, but it's still basically the same principle and put out the same gallons per minute. Yeah, just a more modern platform that functions well.
So how many gallons does the pumper truck hold?
The pumper truck we purchased, it has a 1,000-gallon tank and it has a 1,500 gallon per minute pump. So.
Per minute. That's not very long.
No. I mean, if you have
I'm
enough,
doing some math here. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's 7 minutes.
yeah, if you have enough hoses laid out and pumping that much water, yeah, it's not going to last long. So, yeah, especially when we go outside of town, you know, with no hydrants or anything, we have to take all the water with us. So, yeah, the more we can get there, the better.
All right, very good.
And that's where the two new pumper tankers came in handy. You know, the one is a 2,000-gallon tank, and the other one's a 3,000-gallon tank. So we have a little more water capability now with the new trucks. They have bigger tanks, and so yeah, when we roll up on scene, we have a little more water than we used to. So that'll help also.
So sometimes when you get up there, you can extinguish the fire a little bit quicker. The two trucks can be hitting it from different angles. You smother the fire.
Right.
Get
Yeah.
that oxygen out of there. Yeah,
Yes,
very
absolutely.
good. Okay.
Yes.
Tell us more. Tell us more. Tell us
Oh,
more.
okay. And you know, like Jeff said, we've got two new brush trucks that we're working on getting built. You know, we're replacing one that was a 1985 model, and yeah, becoming very, very unreliable.
85.
Yeah, yeah. So we got full use out of that one. Yeah, we're gonna have two pickups with crew cabs. That way, we have a little more seating. The old regular cab trucks with 22 guys on the department, guys and gals. Don't want to leave them out on the department. Getting them all to a brush fire. When you just have 3 trucks that had seating for 2 people, it's hard to get 22 people there. So a lot of people were showing up in their own vehicles and stuff like that. So that'll give us a little more personnel hauling ability and get some new pumps and skid units to put on these trucks. And
So these trucks are ordered.
well, we actually have the cabin chassis now.
Oh, okay.
So
So-
one of them's in the process of getting the bed put on there now. And,
Okay. So you're getting in work in process.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And the thing is, and I'll quickly throw to Jeff. You guys, as a board, knew this. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to go out and buy everything you need today, and it's going to be ready to go tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So when you guys scope this out, did you have we want to have everything ready in a year or 6 months? How did the board really approach that?
We haven't really set a time frame on a lot of stuff. We knew a lot of the bigger purchases were going to happen up front because that was stuff we were already planning for,
Sure.
especially with the trucks. The stage kind of that we're in now is a little bit more of a modest tempo than it was just a month ago.
A dire need tempo.
Right, right. So now we're really able to sit here and identify what we need going forward. Things such as some of the equipment, training, other aspects such as that.
All right, very good. So the brush trucks are in process.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Closer
Absolutely.
every day, right?
Yes, every day we get a little bit closer.
Yeah, very good.
And with this dry weather, it's making us a little nervous. So
It's been dry. We
Yeah,
definitely
oh,
get.
absolutely.
Last September, I think we had one day of rain last September. Was that crazy?
Yeah.
That's-
And we haven't really had much. Obviously,
No.
we just started September, but we haven't really had much in the latter parts of August.
No.
After having plenty in July and June.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite a change. It
Yeah.
shut off like a light
Well,
switch.
it kind of did this on last year.
It did.
It really did. I do remember September was brutally hot the whole month. Well, knock on wood, latter parts of August really very extraordinarily mild. Didn't even expect
Right.
76 degrees for highs in August and Labor Day
Right.
weekend.
Yeah.
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 That just never
Unheard of.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, unheard of.
But it did happen, and the nice thing about it is that it holds down the heat-related illnesses,
Yes.
but at the same time, without any rain, put you guys kind of at edge,
It does,
especially
yeah.
when we start to see leaves fall. Trees are being stressed. People want to start burning things.
Yes, absolutely.
And-
Yeah. Not a good
You're laughing,
time.
but you're not laughing.
No, not
kinda
a good time for
crying.
that right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Luckily, we've only had a couple small incidents so far. So yeah, but yeah, we'd encourage people not to burn right now if they don't absolutely have to.
Fortunately, there has not been a very windy day.
No.
We've
Yeah,
avoided those.
Unlike
That's
last
been-
spring when we were having 50 and 60 mile an hour winds on a few of those days. So yeah, luckily right now it's not windy, so that helps a lot.
I think I saw last night on the news really quickly. I saw this dust storm hit Phoenix. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. You saw all this dust roll in. They're getting thunderstorms. They're going to be rolling through the area, right? Here comes all this dust ahead of the thunderstorm. Can you imagine how dirty things are going to be after that water starts
Yeah.
coming down?
Yeah, I bet everything gets
nasty.
turned to mud.
But, yeah, you just see this wall of sand come over, and they go, "Oh my gosh!" And then the rain's going to hit.
Yeah,
Gee.
that was
But
probably a mess,
well,
yes.
but this is their wet time, and they say this is where they get most of their water for the whole year. Is coming up right now. We could use a little water ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
So okay, so that's our brush trucks. Let's
Mm-hmm.
move on. What else was really needed out of that bond issue?
Yeah. We've got 17 sets of turnout gear ordered to make sure everybody's in up-to-date gear.
What's turnout gear? You have
Yeah, that-
got to explain this stuff.
Oh,
Dennis.
yes,
People
okay.
don't know.
Yeah. Using my terms here. Yeah. That includes your helmet, gloves, the coat, pants, and boots that we wear to go into a fire. So, that stuff expires after 10 years. Of course, a lot of it doesn't even make it that long due to the damage. They get cut or, spilled oil and gas on there. So they typically have to be replaced even sooner than that. And just like everything else in the fire service, that gear has gotten very expensive.
It's gotten better.
It has gotten better. I mean, the material always improves, and lighter weight, more fire resistive, and protects the people better. But but with that comes a price tag. So
Right.
to fully outfit just with the turnout gear, not including the breathing
Right,
apparatus,
right.
About $5,000 per person. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Now, and you mentioned tears and could be different things that happen. Does the firefighter inspect his turnout gear after every call, or how do you do that to find? Because you don't want to get out there with a tear in it. That'd be very detrimental to your health.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we kind of leave it up to the individual. I mean, we kind of watch out for each other and,
Sure.
and look at each other's gear. But I mean, they have to kind of monitor it and keep it clean and make sure that it's ready to go, and let us know if there's a problem so
Right.
we can get something new or try to get it repaired, one or the other.
I'm just thinking like a firefighter back into something and it just catches their
Sure.
their pants leg or something. They don't even know it. And then next thing
Yeah.
you know, they got a
Yeah.
little hole in there. And
Right.
Well, and those the pants and coats, they have two layers to them. There's an outer
Okay.
shell and there's an inner shell. And the outer shell is to more protect from like those nicks and cuts
Okay.
and whatnot. And the inner shell, my understanding, is what really provides that
From the
thermal,
heat.
yeah, that
Yes.
thermal protection.
but still, don't
But
do
still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it. Sooner or later, it gets compromised.
exactly.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
if it does
Yeah,
that.
the material starts breaking down after a period of time, and it's kind of weird when you take care of your fire gear. We have a special washing machine that we wash it in, but they don't recommend drying it in a dryer because when you expose it to more
Ooh,
heat,
yeah.
it starts to break down the fibers quicker.
Sure, yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
I
have-
wouldn't even have thought of that. Yeah.
yeah. So we air dry all that stuff. So just the process of washing your gear, takes about 8 hours.
So 17 sets of new gear, you're still, I mean, if you got a fire call today and that gear gets washed, it's not going to be ready tonight.
No,
You'd
no.
have to have another set of gear for the firefighters, right?
Well, and that's where it's going to help us with this new gear also, is
Okay.
that where most of the people will have 2 sets of gear now, so
Okay.
you can rotate those between when it
Answer
needs to
my
be
question.
yeah when it needs to be washed. That way they don't have to worry about will there be a call 30 minutes from now and my gear's in the washer or it's drying and not ready to go. So with that they'll be able to keep their gear cleaner. Because that's a big concern in the fire service is all the carcinogens and stuff that soak into that material. That they recommend washing it after every call.
Well, $5,000 a whack, it's hard to imagine $75,000 going out for turnout gear, but as critical and as important as it is, it's a much needed investment.
It is, yes.
And it's not one you put off and say, well, we'll wait until we have X amount of dollars and we'll buy 10 or something. You got it now. Get that gear as quickly as you possibly can. I doubt if you get much of a quantity discount, or do you?
A little bit,
A
but
little bit.
yeah. I mean, they're pretty firm on their price. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but,
figured they would be.
Yeah,
I just don't see that as
Yeah.
one of those buy 20 get 3 free.
yeah. No.
It would be
Well,
nice.
Yeah, and
It
one
might help
issue
you a
we
little.
ran into with buying stuff these last few months is tariff surcharges were getting added to everything,
Yes.
and just surcharges in general. They said, well, next year it's going to go up by 10 or 15%.
Without even knowing if that tariff will be in effect.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ran into that issue. I think that was with the PACs. They tried pulling that. Yeah. So that did not ease. That did not make it any easier.
No.
No.
Could you negotiate around that, or is it pretty well hard fast that they were going to charge it?
Well, the problem you get when you get into a lot of the specialized equipment is that there's only
X amount.
Yeah, there's only 1 or 2 suppliers, and especially with the air packs, I think
Yeah.
Dennis said there's
Yeah,
only one.
there's basically 4 manufacturers of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
So-
lot of leeway to
No,
negotiate
no.
it.
Right.
No. And yeah.
Well, anything else we bought?
At this point, we're just looking at other equipment. We've got need to purchase some hose.
That's constant.
That tends to wear out rather quickly. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
constant.
you're dragging it over sharp edges, rocks, glass.
How much
nails,
does a hose cost?
Oh goodness.
Let's say a 100-foot hose. Do you have a 100-foot hose?
Most of it comes in 50
50.
foot
All right, let's go
sections.
say. Let's just
yeah,
say 50.
Depending on the size, the smaller hand lines are about $300 for a 50-foot
50-foot
section.
hose.
And
It's a special hose, though.
Oh
right?
yeah,
This isn't your garden hose.
No, no. Yeah, and it's got the tougher outer jacket, and it's kind of got the rubber inner liner that but it's kind of a heavy duty cottony type exterior that unfortunately it will burn. So a lot of times I got holes burned in them. You just drag it through hot stuff and you don't realize it, and
Or
gets a
hot
hole
stuff
burned in
gets
it.
to your hose.
Yeah,
I can do that too.
Yes,
So now, when you say this is a lighter hose, is this a smaller nozzle,
Yeah.
a 2-inch or 1-inch, or how?
Inch and 3/4 is
Inch and 3/4.
the standard size that
But
we
there's
use
bigger
for
hoses.
interior firefighting. Yeah, then you have goes up to 2.5-inch, 3-inch, and then the big supply hose that we hook to the hydrants are 5-inch. And that one does come in a 100-foot section, and I don't know why they make the biggest hose and the longer section because
And the heaviest hose.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
pick it up,
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get into that 5-inch 100-foot section. Man, they're probably almost $2,000 a section now.
So, but hoses wear out fairly quick. I mean, I won't say, after every single fire, you got to go get a new hose. But, I mean, after probably half a year to a year's worth, that's maybe a little bit longer. But
Yeah, you can probably get about 5 years out of them.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I wouldn't think it. Well, it might also depend on how many calls you have,
Right,
too. You know,
yeah.
if you have to drag it, like you said, over rocks, a lot of rocks, it's going to
Yes.
take a lot more damage than dragging it over a field.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes. But, we have to do an annual hose test every year on the hoses to make sure that they're still, functioning and don't have any leaks or will hold up to the pressure. We do that every year. The trucks have to have an annual pump test every year. Mm-hmm. The breathing apparatus have to have an annual test
Right.
every year to make sure they're functioning properly and up to snuff. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that just, takes time and money.
And it costs to have those apparatuses checked. It
Sure.
costs to check
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah,
Costs.
costs.
Yep.
Costs. And then it costs.
Yes.
You know, everything's
Yeah.
a cost. So let me just ask you a real quick question. Let's just say the tires on the new engine go out. Now, those tires are cheap. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
tires.
Absolutely.
But what would a set of new tires for a fire engine run? Or give me, I know you don't know probably exactly. You haven't gone out and had to buy any, hopefully.
We had to replace a few on a truck not too long ago. Let's see, I think they were $600 a piece. Yeah. And that wasn't anything special.
Right.
Some of the newer trucks have some pretty good sized tires on them.
Yes,
so,
they do. That's...
You get into those, that's probably well over $1,000 a piece for those tires. So.
Okay, so now that you know what it costs to get the tire, they're not just normally available at your normal tire shop, are they?
No, no. Which, the local shops work well with us. I mean,
Can they get them in and then
they can
they
usually
can
get them
install
in pretty quick.
Okay.
A couple days usually, but yeah.
You know, I know we all see tires go up, and we're thinking, okay, $100, $120 for a tire, and then you think, what about that fire engine tire? That thing is huge.
Yeah.
How much is that gonna cost?
Yes.
And the thing is that, like I said, I just don't think you could go run across the street and they'd have 3 of them ready to go.
No,
that kind of
probably not.
inventory. Most tire shops, I don't think, would want to make that kind of investment to hold those kind of tires. And the longer they hold them, the more brittle they get.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Tires have a lifespan.
They do.
Unfortunately, and usually ours dry rot before we wear them out because fire trucks we don't put a lot of miles on them.
No.
But it's more the hours of setting at a scene and running and pumping that's where the most wear and tear comes.
I think my question would be, with the heat coming onto those tires, does that affect the lifespan of them? And if you're near a fire, that heat, well, we all know how hot it can get near a
Yeah.
fire, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know a lot more than I do, but, I've been near a fire before, and that heat radiates off good 200-300 feet away.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Now, does that do any damage to the tires, or can it?
I'd say it probably could. We haven't had a big issue with that. No,
Okay.
we've melted some plastic lights and stuff on the side of the
what I
truck
mean.
before. Bubbled a little paint here and there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the brush trucks are more of the ones that we have the tire issues when you're driving
Right
through a
in 'em,
field,
yeah.
and yeah. All the farmers out there will know this. The cow patties tend to burn out in the fields, and you drive over one of them or stop on top of one of them that's burning, and don't realize that you can lose a tire that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, I never thought about that. I guess I've never fought a brush fire, so I really wouldn't know about that.
Yes.
But there's these are just some of the things we're talking about that actually cost the fire department, and you guys have regular maintenance to do on everything. Obviously, you have to check all the equipment and go through the different things. I mean, how about training for the guys? I mean, I know that guys are in constant training. You guys usually have one training every month with the guys, but I mean, there's our specialized training. Sometimes there's hazmat trainings.
Sure.
Do we send our guys off, or have we not been able to because of cost in the past, to where there might be some specialized trainings that we need to attend that we couldn't do it before?
That's kind of cut us back over the years. They specialized training where you go somewhere else is kind of expensive. So every year they do a winter fire school up in Columbia that you can go to. Of course, there's always a cost associated with that, and then they do the summer fire school in Jefferson City. Those are both costly. This winter we were able to send some guys up to Columbia to get some specialized training. We've hosted a few classes here at the fire department this year. Just a couple weeks ago, they did a flammable liquids class there at the station.
Well, you remember our derecho and how things got twisted around, and I know our fire department got called out to a few of those things because there were some fires that were involved in that. And do they? I mean, the guys got to be trained obviously in this because there's so much tension on those trees and things that if they're out there, you cut the wrong limb,
right?
And whack! You're gonna have a whole tree come back and
Sure.
and kind of greet you with a not so nice kiss. Is that training that our guys do as well? I mean, I think there was just I think there was a workshop over there in Rolla. I think here about a week or two ago about tornadoes. About going in obviously you guys are first responders.
Right.
Going in, being a first responder, and when you go to a tornado and a house gets lifted off its foundation, it rips the gas lines out. There's all kinds of stuff out there. I mean, it's all stuff that a firefighter, when you arrive on the scene, you really don't know what's there yet.
Right.
Then you have to assess all this. I mean, they've got to process this quickly, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have to be trained in so many different aspects. Like I said, just a storm comes through. I mean, you have to deal with power lines down that could be live still. And gas lines that are broken off and leaking. Let alone the damage from the trees and the houses that are messed up. And there's so many aspects to it that you have to train on, and it's quite a process. We do 2 trainings a month now. We've kind of upped our game there a little bit.
I knew one, but I didn't know the other. Okay, very good.
And so every other Thursday we're doing training, and
So now that we have the newer equipment, obviously the guys had to be trained on the new. I mean, it's just not. Oh, hey, we got a new fire engine. Let's go drive it around. Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
No, it's not probably what you did.
Yeah.
Or take it to the car wash and take you 20 guys to go clean it, just to find out what's on the truck.
Right.
How long does it take to train a firefighter to get trained on a new truck, knowing you had the old truck forever? You know exactly where things are, and now you're on a new truck, and where's that hose, or where's that apparatus at?
Yeah. Well,
how long does that take?
Well, we're still kind of in the process, actually. But that's what we've been focusing on in some of our last trainings is getting to know these new trucks and rearranging the equipment and learning where it's all going to be at now. And it's a process. It'll probably be another month or 2 before everybody's just super comfortable with the trucks and where everything's at. But
is there certain locations on a truck that are marked, like this is where, say, an air hammer is, or this is where this is?
Right.
I mean, so it can help the guys, obviously.
Yes.
But you still need to know where it is on the truck.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they have multiple compartments on there, it's just, just a kind of a memorization game, basically. You just got to walk around and look at it and look at it and look at it again and try
And
to
there's-
remember where it's at.
Yeah, and there's strategic locations for
Sure.
places on the truck for some of the equipment. Like your hydrant and your pump tools are going to be in the compartment closest to the pump and all that. So
But I don't think, I'm hoping I'm not over simplifying things, but I don't think the general public realizes this. I mean, you get a new engine, you get a new a pumper, they're like, oh, it's just like the old pumper. Probably not.
No,
It's
no.
25, 30 years later. Probably
Yes.
not everything is in the same place.
Right.
But there is that learning curve that our firefighters have to go through. And obviously a learning curve is something you have to keep practicing on, like you're mentioning. Every day you kind of go over it. But when you get to a fire, you don't have the time to try and
No.
figure out, okay, is this on that back left side or on the front right side? Because everything has to happen just almost seamlessly, does it not?
It does, yes. Yeah, I mean, fires double in size every minute, so yeah, the quicker you do your job, the better the outcome's going to be. So yeah, practice, practice, practice.
But now, because of the voters of Dent County, you've got the equipment, you've got the tools, you've got the things that now are updated, that are current, that are keeping our firefighters safe,
Yes.
but also are able to serve the public as well.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's one of the big things. You know, it's not our fire department. This fire department belongs to the community,
Right.
And yeah, we want to be able to serve this community the best we can.
Right. And it's our guys and ladies who are fighting on that fire department that you want to keep safe, or somebody's
Absolutely.
moms, dads, or child or children, or maybe uncles and aunts. They're out there putting themselves on the line
Yep.
for people all the time.
Yes.
And I always tip my cap to them because, yeah, like I said, when I was a little kid and I saw a firefighter, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, because of the big coat, the hat, the boots,
Yeah.
and that was always so cool. But then you think about actually having to fight that fire, get out there in it, and what these guys and ladies have to do to not only fight the fire but keep themselves safe, because
Right.
you can be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. It's mentally challenging for sure. Yeah, and that's part of the training. You just have to be prepared for anything, and
there's so much work that goes into it too. Like fires don't happen Monday through Friday between 8 and 5.
And I don't believe that.
Yeah, right.
And they can't put a closed sign out there.
Yes.
Often these things are happening at midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and these guys and gals have jobs to go to
Absolutely.
in the morning. So they're getting up, going to a house fire for a few hours, going home, showering off, and then going to work for the whole day.
Sure.
So
And I guess, too, we need to thank all the employers who allow these volunteer
Absolutely.
firefighters to leave their jobs at a moment's notice
Right.
and head out to help
Yes.
whoever it may be. And it might be obviously you guys get called in on some other calls. We all know that it's not just Denton County you serve, and that's your main home base. But if Rolla Rural calls you and you need the help, get that call assist, you guys will be there as much as you can. Now,
Yes.
obviously, not everybody may leave their work for that one because it is an assist, but as
Right.
many as you can, because if you have to call them, you want all of them to come your way as
Oh,
well. It's
absolutely.
reciprocal, isn't it?
Yes. Oh yeah, mutual aid is very important. It is,
Yeah.
and when somebody else needs help, it's important to go help them because like you said, when you need help, you want them to send as much as they can. So
Yeah.
that is very
So
important.
I comment. I hear comments all the time about these guys and ladies. I don't want to leave anybody out. While they get off work to go do this. Well, I don't think being a firefighter is off work.
No.
If you're doing a desk job at your business and you're going out there and fighting a fire, I don't call that being off work.
No.
So I hope people realize that this is not a vacation. When you get a call, okay, it might be a car accident call or something of that nature, or maybe they don't have to show, or maybe they get there and hey, we don't need you for this one. They can go back to work. Oh, go back to their job. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But there's times, you have a car accident, you have to have firefighters guide traffic. A lot of times you guys help that out with the sheriff's department,
Yes.
and you maybe you're out there having to use the jaws of life and open up cars or even vans or whatever it might be to get people out. it's not every call is different, is it not?
It is, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's kind of one of the neat things about the job, if you will. You never know. Every call is different, and you just don't know what you're going to get into, and yeah, that kind of makes it interesting and exciting. But if you will, yeah.
Well, but now you're much more prepared with the newer equipment. That should something arise, you guys are very comfortable with the new equipment that you can go fight it the best way you can fight that fire.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
due to
there's-
our Denton County voters.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also,
we
appreciate
appreciate them.
and I think we need to give a lot of credit, Jeff, and I know you're on the board, but the board had to make some tough decisions all the way through this, and still have to make a lot of tough decisions coming up, because the money's not going to last forever.
Right.
So you have to be good stewards of the money.
Exactly.
And then make sure that it's well invested into the firefighters as well as equipment, correct?
Right. Yes, and that's one of the things we've started the process for next year's budget, and really trying to identify those areas where we can get the most bang for our buck. You know, because our general operating budget is $280,000, and when you take into account every year that you're going to have to replace, you know, $20,000 worth of gear, $30,000 worth of gear. Insurance cost us $40,000. Utilities is another 20. You know, doesn't take long for the budget to
Yeah.
dry up. So,
Yeah.
yeah, with the remaining bond funds, really trying to identify those areas that's going to help us strategically long term. You know, and we've got other trucks too that need replaced.
Absolutely.
Like we've got a ladder truck that today, if we wanted to replace it, would be $2 million. And that was one of the hard decisions that we had to make. The command staff did, the board did. You know, can't really afford right now to replace the ladder truck because we have all these other areas that we need to spend money.
Right.
So going forward, you know, that ladder truck in a couple years might cost $2.5 million, and then it goes up to 3, then 4. You just don't know how these things are going to go out. But
You know, and sometimes I know our board in the past have looked for used trucks where somebody else is replacing one and help save some money. But when you get a used truck, we've been talking about here,
yeah,
you know, if it's maybe 5 years old, that'd be great, but many times it's going to be 15 to 20.
right.
Yeah. And so you can expect issues with that truck. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. Yes.
Yeah, you could expect issues with it. And another thing people got to remember is that you're using these trucks for emergencies. This isn't, you know, like you go out for work one day and your truck's dead. You got to wait another 15, 20 minutes to jumpstart it. Well, we don't have that luxury
Right.
in the fire service. We get to the station, we need these trucks to be running at full capacity. So,
And I think, you kind of touched on something. I think a lot of people forget that the fire department has to pay utilities and costs just like mom, dad, you, me, everybody else. That's not free. Maintenance on the trucks is not free. Oil changes, things of that nature. It doesn't come. You might buy a truck for $2 million, and guess what? That $35 oil change, that's not $35.
No.
I think that's one thing Dennis wanted to hit on was the amount of maintenance that, you know, we do not just in-house, but also there's things that we have to ship out for. But
That's why I wanted to bring this up, because there's a lot of maintaining. Obviously, we've already
There
talked
is.
a little bit about it, even
Yeah.
just checking your own apparatus, make sure everything is good. But trucks, hoses, everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with the trucks themselves, the oil changes are very expensive. I mean, they have huge filters and air filters, and take gallons of oil to fill them up instead of just 4 quarts. So it's very expensive to do that. But yeah, we usually try to get that done twice a year. Mileage, like I said, is not a problem, but just the number of hours that the trucks run. But yeah, there's all kinds of maintenance stuff that we do on a regular basis, on top of keeping the equipment in the truck ready to go, the truck themselves, keep them clean, and got to keep them greased up, make sure that everything's functioning, and so when you get back from a call, you spend almost as much time getting things back in order as you do actually working the call itself. So there's a lot of hours that go into the firefighting behind the scenes that people don't realize.
So when you arrive at a scene, that truck is running the whole time, right?
Yes.
Because you're using your pumpers and you're using all
Right.
all your dials and gauges are all hooked up to your battery, and you probably have a backup battery there. But sometimes that just idling is the worst thing you can do on a vehicle. I mean, I have a lot of miles on it, but if you're idling there for 6 hours, can you imagine your car idling for 6 months? You're using gas,
Sure.
and that oil has to keep going. Everything has to keep going,
Yeah.
but it's stationary. You're not getting a lot of
Right.
air in there, and that heats it up, it puts even more stress on the truck, does it not?
It does, yeah. Yep, that's probably harder on them than driving down the road.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would think so. I would
Yeah.
think so. So, Highway Patrol always used to say they had to replace their cars so much because it's not so much that they're driving or wherever they have to go, and they may be driving 100 miles an hour, but it's the idling. Every time they give a ticket, it just sits there, sits there. Or with an accident. I was I had involved in an accident back in 2001, and Trooper Arnold sat with me for 9 hours.
Oh, wow.
9 hours because it was snowing.
Yeah.
Wow.
They couldn't get a tow truck to the vehicle,
Yeah.
and I was just sitting. I admire that man to this day. He was on his way home when he got the call, and I had to sit there. I had to wait for the tow truck. Well, he had to sit there with me, so
Yes.
he couldn't go home, but we didn't get out. We didn't turn the car off. We didn't go get gas. We didn't respond to another accident.
Yeah.
Wasn't just up the road,
Yeah.
but it was a minor one, and it was easy enough to take care of. But this one, we had to wait for the tow truck, and I appreciate everything he did. Until when the tow truck got there, I said, "I hope you have a great Christmas."
Yeah.
I sent you a Christmas card, man. But
Yeah.
he goes, "It's just part of the job." I said, "No, that's crazy." And he was as nice as could be.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't see, that side. Same thing with firefighters. You don't go out and get in the way of a firefighter when they're fighting a fire. They're concentrating on the fire. They're probably not going to be the nicest person if you just go out and stand on their hose, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think people get curious about fires, and they tend to want to get out there. And I remember the very first time when former Chief Tom Roof, and I went out to a fire, and he said, he goes, "I don't care if you want to take all the pictures you want." I said, "Radio doesn't really have a lot of pictures." I said, he goes, "Just don't get in the way of my firefighters." He goes, "That's all I ask you. You want to watch, you stand way back there."
Right.
He goes, "But do not come in and start asking them questions. Do not do that." He said, "These guys, their lives are on the line."
Right. Yeah.
So, and I think people forget about that. The
They do.
fire is a dangerous thing, and if you distract somebody, you could cost somebody their life or get them seriously hurt.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do. They need to concentrate and focus on the job at hand and not have to worry about people, walking up to them and asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, that ruins your whole train of thought. And,
The only persons they should be responding to is their partner or,
Right.
the commands that you're giving that, hey, we need to get over here, we need to go here, and that's it. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And let them do the job that they're out to do and not have to stop for an interview, take the helmet off, and pose for the camera.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not, it might look like that's what happens on TV a lot. It doesn't really happen in real life.
No.
I mean, and fortunately, being in a small town, we don't have the TV cameras because
Right.
they will come out and they will get in the way.
Oh,
And they think everybody needs to know. And I said, well, you need to know to get out of the way
Right.
because these guys are trying to do a job. So,
Yeah.
we
are lucky there, yeah.
But that's one time I asked me that, and I said, you know what? There's no need for me to be at the fire.
No.
So I'll let you guys do your job, and I'll stay right away from you. Just do what you need to do.
Highway safety is another big thing too. We've almost had guys had multiple close calls when guys are working car wrecks and stuff out there directing traffic. People not paying attention.
phone.
On the phone, or they get distracted by the lights or what's
Yeah.
going on, and they don't pay attention to
Yes.
firefighters trying to direct them where they need to go.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
a
beware,
dangerous
guys. And there's
Yeah.
reflective. You guys have reflective tape all over the place. You can't
Yeah.
miss them
Right.
standing in the middle of the road. Well, you shouldn't be able to miss them,
Yeah.
but and you're right on, Jeff. People they start getting distracted by mostly their phone. I would have to say, or it could be
Yeah.
kids, or
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
could be something else, and they're not paying attention. When they ask you to move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then know that you're moving forward, not hitting them.
Yes.
Right.
That's very important. And that if people would take the time to understand, and that's all we're asking is, if you're out there and you see a firefighter in the road helping somebody, or you see a police officer out there on the road that has to guide traffic or stop you for the time being, stop.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing it for a reason. A lot of times you're having to pull a car, maybe a tow truck pulling a car out. Maybe they're trying to get a person out of a damaged car into an ambulance. They have to shut the highway down to get that ambulance in there and get that done. People, there's, and then, you know, I know everybody gets impatient.
Yeah.
But you know what? If that was you,
Yeah.
would you want them to do that? Or would you rather have them let the cars and trucks go by until there's an opening and then we'll try and get them out?
Yeah.
I mean, you just put yourself in the place of that person who may have got knocked off the highway and it's not even their fault. And that we have seen, unfortunately, way too much of that. Way too much of that.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to get the guys here from the fire department, Denton County Fire Protection District, and a big thank you to the Denton County voters for what you were able to do. Provide them with the opportunity to really put our fire department back top notch. Nothing that was wrong with the guys doing it. Some of the equipment had seen better days.
Yes.
A lot of that equipment was older than the
Yeah.
firefighters themselves.
I was over in the firehouse. I know what it used to be. It was not a firehouse.
Yeah.
But it really
absolutely.
it's a community that protects itself, and that's what has happened here. The Denton County community, the Denton County Fire Protection District patrons, we'll call them that if you want to, really came together to help out our fire district, and
They did.
And we, I feel very comfortable that Jeff, people like yourself, Mike Godey, Leanne, all the different people on the board are really going to be good stewards of this money. And I know Chief Floyd, I read all the minutes and stuff. I get a chance to do that. And so I know you're always on top of the different things that need to be done. I really do appreciate the great work that you do, number one, and all the firefighters, and men and women, and there are both. And I think the unsung heroes can be sometimes the board, because
Yeah.
nobody knows what goes on in those board meetings. You know, I mean, they, I mean, it's open to the public. Any board meeting's open to the public. You can go and watch. But you got people who are making decisions that are affecting firefighters.
Right.
And that is always difficult. And I've been on boards where, not quite that firefighter board, but everything you decide, whether you're going to buy something new or not buy something new, that can affect those firefighters. And that's a board decision. Sometimes you got to live with that decision.
And it can affect you for years.
Yes,
It's
it
like
can.
the decisions that we're making now. This is going to affect the department for the foreseeable future, next 10, 20, 30 years at least. So, it's made a big positive impact on the department. So we're excited to see where it goes from here.
Very good.
And if people in the public are curious about where the money's going, we've created a website. They can go to dentoncountyfire.org. We've put a spreadsheet together, basically, that details all of the bond proposition purchases. So we're just trying to be good stewards of the money and show people that we're being responsible with this and not just spending it carelessly.
Right, you passed the bond issue, and here's where it went.
Exactly.
So, and it is that, can you give that web address?
Yeah, dentoncountyfire.org.
Okay.
dentoncountyfire.org. There's a link.
I thought there might have been
Nope.
some extensions.
There
to it.
is, but the
Oh,
easiest
okay.
way just to explain it is there's a spot on there. It says Proposition Fire. You can just click on that
Click the button.
and scroll to the bottom, and the
There you go.
spreadsheet's right there.
All right, very good. I thought there might have been a longer extension.
Nope.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen.
Yep.
People do that. That's fine. Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in, spending some time with us, letting the public know what's going on, letting the public know where their money was invested into and how it is being used. And Jeff, thank you and the board for having the foresight to look forward and making a decision on doing a bond issue. There's a decision you could have increased the tax levy, and all these discussions, and it's not an easy decision to put your community actually where you have to pay off bonds over the next 20 years or whatever it might be. So it's still a decision, and I think the board made a good one, and I look forward to seeing how well our fire district continues to move forward in the future because of that investment in the community by the community.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Chief Dennis Floyd and Jeff Stokes from the Dane County Fire Protection District Board. We really do appreciate you guys coming in, spending some time with us. Again, those board meetings are open still the second Tuesday of the month.
Second Tuesday of the month.
Second Tuesday of the month at the Fire Protection District Firehouse down there at the old Dent County Motors, old Becker Motors.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go back to a
Going
lot of
way
different
back.
ones. A lot of different things there,
Yes.
but for the older people, they might know that as that, but that's where it is, right there on the right corner of 19 and Iron and Center. It is right there at that intersection. You can't miss it. Again, guys, thanks very much for coming
Thanks,
in,
Dan.
spending some
Thank
time with
you.
us here on KSMO Radio, your hometown radio station. We've got some news coming up from the Associated Press, statewide news from Missouri Net, and civic happenings in just a moment.